Well, good morning everyone, and a very warm welcome to our inaugural KTP Associates seminar from the University of the West of Scotland. I'm just doing an audio check and asking my co-presenters to give me the thumbs up if they can hear me. Excellent, so we've got over the first hurdle, and trust me, it will be one of many because this is our inaugural live stream, so we're all learning today. I hope you can still hear me because I've now got a mic muted signal, but we can. Excellent, good. So my name's Stuart McKay and I'm the KTP manager at the University of the West of Scotland. Today we're going to be joined by colleagues from across the university, but our stars of the show are our associates, and we'll be hearing some fantastic project outputs as we go through the morning. To help me and stop me having a heart attack and organise all this, I'm very fortunate to have my Deputy Manager, Carol Thompson, who will be managing our Q&A session. So I'll just quickly introduce you to Carol. So if you want to say hello to everyone, Carol.
Hi everyone, I'm Carol. I'll be not answering your questions, but posting your questions to our presenters. So make sure you make use of the question and answer function.
Excellent, thanks Carol. And also co-chairing is Dr. Gerry Black. And Gerry, I'll let you introduce yourself, say a few words. And that's our first technical failing because Gerry's on silent.
Sorry, morning everyone. My name is Dr. Gerry Black. I'm the KTP advisor for the West of Scotland. I'm one of the senior KTP advisors across the UK.
Excellent, thank you, Gerry. So back to me. UWS, what are we doing here? Well, obviously you'll hear from our Vice Principal in a moment in terms of some of our key achievements over the past few years. And we do like setting records. And this morning is another record for us. Not only is it our first live stream, but we've actually had several hundred registrations. We've had over 400 click-throughs on the link, and we're currently streaming globally. And believe it or not, according to my analytics here, we're running to more than 15 countries. So that includes as far away as Swindon, believe it or not. That's obviously just over the border, and I'm referring to Richard Lamb here, the KTP Programme Manager, and we're delighted you've been able to join us, Richard. But we're also streaming as live as Kenya. So to our Kenyan partners, and we do have a KTP in Kenya, believe it or not, Hujambo, which I believe means hello and good morning. And actually they're not number one. Number one spot is China. So again, for China, ni hao is what I believe is the right saying according to my 9-year-old son. So you're all extremely welcome to this event. I'll now try and work my way through these slides. So just in terms of housekeeping, to make you aware, all your mics and videos are off as attendees. You are able to pause and rewind this live stream, and the event video will be available to you after we finish. We'll send you a link out for those that have registered. There's also an interactive Q&A which Carol will manage, and you can post questions to that, and Carol will publish those throughout the morning. I suggest you post questions when the presenters give their overview of their project, and that will allow a good interactive session. Obviously, this is a changed world, and I'm sure we've all got one of these now, our 3D avatars. Personally, I kind of miss the real stuff, and for me, certainly, normally at this point, you'd be settling down into one of our comfy chairs. This is our boardroom in our Lanarkshire campus. For those of you who don't know, we've got 5 campuses across the UK. Or you'd be sampling my homemade muffins, which, just imagine the delights that you would have from that. But I certainly hope we can invite you back to campus soon and see you all. So just with that in mind, I thought we'd reminisce back in August when we had our first luncheon for our KTP partners. And I hope this brings back some nice memories for those that will be presenting in a few short minutes. And so that hopefully reminds you of what we will get back to next year, because we will get through this. I'm confident of that. But just to quickly reiterate the agenda, I'm about to introduce our Vice Principal. Then Gerry will chair the individual presentation sessions. Each presentation will be 5 minutes, so it's a quick, sharp, high-impact presentation, and then there'll be 5 minutes Q&A, because we want to expose you to as many projects as possible during this session. And lastly, I'll close the event. And with that, I'd like to introduce our Vice Principal, Professor Milan Radosavljevic. Milan.
Stuart, thank you very much. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome everyone to this KTP Associates Seminar 2020. It is a very different time this year. I cannot see the participants, unfortunately, but Stuart, I'm really pleased to see that basically the participants and visitors are welcoming the presentations from all over the world. Look, I wish everyone to stay safe and well. We're approaching the celebrations for Christmas for all of those who celebrate Christmas, and considering that I won't see you before Christmas, most probably, I wish you a very pleasant Christmas, and for everyone else, season's greetings and all the very best for 2021. And if we all stay safe and well, we'll get through this pandemic, and hopefully 2021 will be a much better year for everyone globally. Next slide, please. So, no, the previous one, sorry, I didn't realize, Stuart, that you were already on this one. So in terms of our KTP portfolio, look, KTP is a strategic priority for UWS. Without any doubt, we have a few years ago made a strategic decision to focus and invest on the KTP. And one of the things that I have to say here is that I would like to thank, of course, Dr. Gerry Black for being with us today, but also to my wonderful KTP Centre team, particularly, Carol and Stuart for organising the event today, but also kind of for absolutely immense work that they're doing behind all of these KTP successes that you see on the screen. So what we currently have is 35 projects. The total value of the project is £7 million. And out of the 4 schools, we currently have 3 schools involved in the KTP projects in one way or another, because we're working on a team-based approach. And of course, every KTP includes the supervision team that comes very often from a variety of different schools. So when you look at the kind of the achievements that we have made over the past few years, you'll see, 35% portfolio growth is absolutely amazing. And we are now #1 in Scotland and #3 in the UK, and #1 for the management KTPs. And we have also this year won the first international KTP with FarmTrack and Mount Kenya University. And I would like to thank both of those companies and the university for their contribution here as well. Next slide. So for those who don't basically know why KTPs are really important and why we have basically achieved what we have achieved at UWS in terms of the KTP success, you can see that one of the key themes behind all of this is believing in partnership with business. So everyone that you speak to at UWS believes in partnership with business, and our research is basically applied research, and therefore applied research needs to have an impact. And KTPs are a fantastic opportunity to generate this impact, and with the industry focus that our staff have got, create benefits, real benefits, mutual benefits for the companies involved and for the university. We very often come with really crazy ideas. We dream big. We believe that they're possible, and then we achieve things. And that is basically, in a nutshell, it explains how our approach works at UWS. It's a can-do attitude, and it simply means that if you believe in what you want to achieve in the future, you can basically achieve this and succeed. In terms of the portfolio and the supporters behind this portfolio, I would like to take this opportunity, of course, as well to thank our funders. There are many funders involved in this, and first and foremost, Innovate UK, who are behind the oldest knowledge transfer initiative in the world, 45 years this year, and of course there are other funders as well. Scottish Funding Council involved in this as well. Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, who are behind, for example, the international KTPs, EPSRC, AHRC, NARC. These are the research councils within the United Kingdom Research and Innovation, Engineering and Physical Sciences, Arts and Humanities, and Economic and Social Sciences Research Council. Management KTPs, they are relatively new in the sense that although the KTP has got a long history, management KTPs have been introduced last year in order to help companies improve their businesses through the management interventions. They are sponsored by the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy to the tune of 25 million. They have been a great addition, and they have basically helped our university to help the businesses achieve major improvements when it comes to the business practices. So when we talk about the management KTPs, what makes a good management KTP therefore? Well, it involves leadership and strategic management practices and techniques, and it is based on very sound theory and research. Without sound theory and research, a good management KTP cannot be achieved. It involves inevitably organizational and cultural change, and it is focused on the strategic and business growth and productivity. That's the whole idea behind the management KTPs. What kind of activities can you expect within management KTPs? Well, obviously strategic thinking and planning, looking at alternative business models, but then also looking at the operational level. What processes and supply chains do you have, and how they can be optimized? In the current day and age, digital transformation, business process management improvements are the key here. And of course, digital marketing and business development are of pivotal importance, particularly when we're talking about the new product development and launching into the markets. Now, the KTPs in general obviously will play an enormous role also in the post-COVID recovery and resilience efforts. What the companies need to do is they need to innovate. There is absolutely no question that once we come out of the pandemic, those who innovate will survive. There is the need for innovation in the normal times, but in the times like this, it's even greater need for innovation to stay in the market and to stay relevant. There is an increased reliance on digital technologies and digital services, so the companies will need to adjust to that. And in order to achieve business continuity and appropriately deal with the risk management, new collaborations are needed and new supply chains need to be established. And that is basically what management KTPs and what the KTPs in general are all about. So what are the KTP knowledge transfer partnerships? For all of those, for example, who are in the international audience, who might not know the details about the knowledge transfer partnerships, they are basically they're projects that bring together the businesses and the universities in order to transfer knowledge and achieve greater results for the companies involved. They are not free, obviously, but they enable companies to, through investment, deliver the innovation that before, without the KTP, would not be possible. They are 12 to 36 months long. Project budget is around £90,000. SMEs need to contribute 33% to that, and the large organization is 50%. Deadline is every 2 to 3 months, so they basically include regular reporting in order to make sure that they achieve the achieved objectives. And the process is managed by our wonderful KTP team who are with us today. So with this, I would like to invite you to connect with us, to drop us an email, to contact my wonderful team, Stuart and Carol, and let's work together. There are always opportunities here within the UK, but obviously through the international KTPs internationally as well. Now, without further ado, and with great pleasure, I would like to basically also introduce Dr. Gerry Black. I did say before, I'm really pleased that Gerry is with us today. He's a senior knowledge transfer advisor, and he has been absolutely pivotal in supporting our growth. And Gerry, the microphone is yours. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today, and I hope that you will enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Oh, okay, well, thank you very much, Milan, for that introduction. And I'm here mainly to chair, but I would like to say a few words before we move into the presentations. You've just all heard a really inspirational story from Milan about how they've grown their knowledge exchange activity, and in particular their KTP activity. And it is a really tremendous achievement, and I'm really proud to have been part of that story. I'm proud to be part of the KTP story overall, and I'm proud to be part of the UWS story so far. So Stuart, thank you also for inviting me to come and help chair this seminar, the first such event for UWS, but it certainly won't be the last. It's a story that's growing. In my role as the KTP advisor, I represent the sponsors of KTP, led by Innovate, but in Scotland, the Scottish Funding Council play an important role, and I represent KTN. Innovate UK are part of UKRI, and they have a mission to drive business innovation. And since 2007, have invested £2.5 billion of grant funding into business innovation, and this has leveraged £4.3 billion of investment from industry. KTP is a really significant part of this story and has a remarkable profile across the UK. At KTN, we connect people and businesses for positive change, and we play a pivotal role in the innovation ecosystems across the UK. We heard from Milan about their rallying call of dream, believe, achieve. This is proudly front and centre on their homepage, and how you are living this as a university and living this with your KTP and your knowledge exchange, genuinely transforming the businesses that you support and inspiring the individuals you engage with. In achieving your mission to have a transformational influence on the economic, social and cultural development of the west of Scotland and beyond, you have built a large KTP portfolio anchored locally, but covering the UK and reaching as far as Africa, as Stuart pointed out earlier on. And I can't wait to hear from 9 of these partnerships today. So moving just to how it's going to work today, I'm going to introduce each partnership. Each partnership has pre-recorded a video, and that will last for 5 minutes. After the video, each KTP associate will be live on your screen to answer questions. We would like you to pose those questions in the question and answer function within Teams, and Carol is going to moderate those questions and feed them onto me to ask on your behalf. So let's get going. Our first project is the project with Phoenix Instinct Ltd to embed advanced composite structures, finite element design capability to underpin the design and development of a new range of smart, ultra-weight wheelchairs, and their associate is Jacob.
Hello, my name is Jacob, and I want to talk to you about the smart wheelchair that we've been developing. Phoenix Instinct was founded by Andrew Lawrence, who himself being paralyzed for over 37 years, knows well the challenges and pains that a wheelchair user experiences in their daily life. That's why he developed and brought to market the world's only wheelchair-specific luggage that the company is now selling. This luggage clips onto the back of the user's chair, following them wherever they go, allowing them to travel independently, not having to rely on another person carrying their suitcase. And our social media is full of testimonials of how this product is meaningfully changing people's lives. The problem we are trying to solve in this project is different. If we look at the wheelchair itself, it has not really evolved in the last 40 years. At its core, it is still the same device that it was in the 80s. On the other hand, a prosthetic limb has gone from being a simplistic, unappealing chunk of wood or plastic into this marvel of engineering, a high-tech device packed with electronics that is so good, in fact, that the World Athletics claims that dual amputees using them have an unfair advantage over able-bodied athletes. So what happened to the prosthetic limb is a legacy device was updated through the use of electronics. It was made smart. This smart revolution is happening right now with bicycles having pedal assist, with electronic skateboards and electronic scooters. All these devices the consumer can already buy. Our vision is to embed that smart functionality into the wheelchair and begin a step change in the mobility market. Once we've demonstrated what's possible by introducing electronics to the wheelchair, we hope to raise the expectation of the wheelchair users so that they will no longer settle for the same device they've been sold for the last 4 decades. And we can impact a lot of lives, with over 1 million people currently living with a spinal cord injury and thousands of new injuries every year. The KTP came about when the company became a finalist in Toyota Mobility Unlimited Challenge, where they've won $500,000 to develop a new mobility device of the future. And since my appointment, we've embedded a lot of engineering knowledge into the company, particularly in the fields of composites and manufacturing. And we've delivered a smart wheelchair prototype that we showed to Toyota judging panel. Let me show it to you now. Number one cause of injury to wheelchair users is tipping over backwards, and it happens instantly without the user being aware. And it's due to the person overbalancing over the fixed point of balance of the wheelchair. So what you see in the video is when I lean back in a chair with a fixed wheel position, I fall over backwards. However, when the wheels are allowed to move, they save me, they prevent me from falling. We call that the intelligent center of gravity, where the wheels will follow the user's movement, tracking their body. That not only makes for a safer chair, but also a chair that is easier to push. But most importantly for us, it empowers the user because the chair is now engaged with them, it's interacting with them. The user doesn't have to fight this inanimate, clunky object. To complement our electronics development, we have made a unique carbon fiber frame that is currently the lightest on the market. And we were able to do that because we developed our proprietary manufacturing process that allows them to make those chairs cheaply and make them here in the north of Scotland. The benefits of the KTP were that the business is now making and designing and manufacturing a new product that will soon ship to customers. Academically, we are planning to publish on our bespoke, unique manufacturing process. As for me, I learned a lot about product design, rapid prototyping with 3D printing, and working with contractors. And I'm hoping to secure a position at the company. What's next for us? The winner announcement of the Mobility Unlimited Challenge is on the 17th of December. Regardless of the outcome, we plan to ship the ultralight carbon fiber frames to customers in early 2022. And should we win, we will bring the electronics development in-house by appointing another KTP. Thank you for listening. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Jacob, thank you so much for that presentation. A very interesting and inspirational story. So if anyone in the audience of this presentation is dying to ask a question, this is your opportunity to post that question in the Q&A. At the moment, I'm not seeing any questions, but I've got several that I'd like to ask, so I'll start with that. Jacob, it's really interesting to consider what KPIs you might have come up with in terms of defining the improvements of the wheelchair that you would target, and how you went about doing the user or market research to identify those needed improvements.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Great. Thank you for the question, Gerry. And I think our greatest strength is that we know the customer, because the creator of the product is also the end user. Therefore, I think Andrew knows best what he himself as the customer is expecting from the device. And some of those things just wouldn't occur to me as an engineer, but for him as a user, they're quite obvious. So I think there's the great strength that we have as a company, that we are able to define the needs of our users so well.
Okay, that's really great. Thank you. We've got a question now that's come in from Lucy, and she's interested to know whereabouts in the north of Scotland you make the frames. I think we could broaden that to how you've gone about identifying your manufacturing partners.
So to answer the first question, is we are based in Forres and Murray, and it's here where we make those frames. And as for the manufacturing process, it is something that we developed specifically for this product. We have a very specific requirement of how we want these frames to be made, and we've created the whole manufacturing process from scratch for those requirements. So I'm afraid I can't give you specific details, as it is one of the company's secrets, but we are making them here on site. We are not relying on external partners to do it for us.
That's yet another really exciting part of the story to hear. I've got another question now from Daniel, and he's asking, what kind of sensors are you using in the wheelchair?
The aim is for the chair to be able to accept many different additions, so to speak. So you will be able to introduce different sensors in different parts of the chair, depending on what you want it to do. What you saw there, we have sensors that measure the weight distribution in the chair, and they're able to adjust the center of gravity accordingly.
Jacob, that's your 5 minutes of questions are now up. It's been a really inspirational start to the seminar. It's a tremendous story. We wish you all the best in the next stage of your competition with Toyota, and I can't wait to see your wheelchairs being rolled out to the public. They're not only going to grow a fantastic company, but they're going to make such a change to people's lives. Very well done.
Thank you, Gerry. Thank you, everyone.
Well done, Jacob. It's Stuart McKay here again. Just to quickly interject, because the questions are now coming thick and fast, but we've run out of time for Jacob. However, all this will be documented and recorded, and so when we issue the video link, we will attempt to provide responses to all the questions today. But thank you to all the additional people that asked questions, but unfortunately we're out of time on that one.
So Stuart's going to bring up the next introductory slide. So our second presentation is from Touchless Hygiene UK Ltd, and it was to embed engineering and microbiology expertise to facilitate the design, development, testing and launch of the next generation of microbial disinfection and decontamination technology. And their associate is Connor.
Hello and welcome to this presentation on the KTP between the University of West Scotland and Touchless Hygiene, otherwise known as Sandaf UK, market leaders in whole room decontamination. The project team consists of our company chair, Mr. Stuart White, founder and director of Sandaf UK, Dr. Tony Leslie, lead academic supervisor, and myself, Connor Spears, the KTP associate. The project has a large support team which includes expertise in microbiology, chemical engineering and fluid flow, as well as the KTP support network. Sandaf were established in the UK by Stuart White in 2015, providing a touchless decontamination service using electrostatic spraying and fogging systems. Sandaf uses a hydrogen peroxide formula which achieves a 99.9% kill rate on all harmful bacteria, viruses, fungi and mould. The challenge to develop the next generation of decontamination equipment using a combined fogger and electrostatic spraying system forms the foundation of this KTP. The main challenge of this KTP is combining two different technologies to run from one power source, as well as developing a new electrostatic nozzle that is unique to Sandaf and various quick win projects. The decontamination industry has few service providers that offer electrostatic spraying solutions, allowing Sandaf to offer a unique and beneficial service to clients. With a growing market demand for specialist decontamination, Sandaf require a new cost-effective fogging and electrostatic sprayer, which will allow them to keep up with demand. This has also been highlighted by the COVID-19 impact. As Sandaf had no engineering capability, they reached out to the University and Innovate UK and formed the KTP to develop the next generation of decontamination equipment and also allowing Sandaf to form an internal design capability. 1 year into the KTP, COVID-19 hit and has played a major part in the development of new products, as well as a successful bid to develop a standalone electrostatic sprayer. The main advantages of this design will see two fundamentally different systems combined into one portable unit with improved quality, capability, reliability and ergonomics of equipment and accessories tailored to the needs for Sandaf. During the KTP, a client's request has led to the development of a bespoke system that can operate a spraying nozzle without the need for AC and DC power. This was one of the highlighted quick wins. The project will also see Sandaf own and control the supply chain for their own equipment. The business impact from the KTP will see net profits of £8.5 million post KTP. This will also allow Sandaf to control the supply chain of their new equipment. The KTP will also see the university submit several publications to engineering and microbiological journals. The associate's development from the KTP will see him submit for an MPhil qualification, as well as taking part in several training courses such as Lean Six Sigma and gaining qualifications in a variety of software packages such as SolidWorks. The next steps will be to manufacture and certify the prototype combined unit and then move to product launch. Next, another step will be to complete the COVID-19 response bid to develop a standalone electrostatic sprayer and then to distribute to all franchise networks around the world. Thank you for listening. Any questions? Hello and welcome to this presentation on the KTP between the University of West Scotland and Touchless Hygiene.
We're good to speak, Stuart. Okay, good. Connor, thank you very much for that presentation. Very, very interesting and very topical for this pandemic year. The first question I'd like to pitch to you myself was I think I gathered from your presentation that you were an engineer. So I just wondered how you have managed to come up to speed and contribute to the microbiology.
Thanks, Gerry. Yeah, I'm an engineer. So coming into the KTP, it was a challenge to be exposed to the microbiology side of things. But like I said, the KTP was formed with a broad range of support. One of them was Dr. McKay, which is the microbiology specialist at UWS, and I've worked quite closely with Gordy to develop an understanding of the microbiology side.
Great. The other thing I spotted in your presentation was you're predicting an increase in sales, following on from the KTP of over £8 million, or that might have even been profit. That's a fairly significant, or a very, very significant jump for the business. Are you involved in the planning for that? For how the business will scale to achieve that?
Not so much right now. No, I've mainly just been doing the design development of the new product. So that's the main part, to be honest. Yeah. Obviously, COVID-19 has also affected that number with the greater demand.
That was going to be the next question about coping with your KTP project in this pandemic year, because I imagine demand for the company's core business has rocketed this year. So has that had a disruptive effect on your project, and how have you coped with that?
Yeah, it's definitely seen a great demand on the company to provide more service. And there are a shortage of machines now, taking on more people to carry out the greater workload. So the project, you could say, has been more accelerated, or especially with the bid to develop a COVID response, which was the standalone sprayer. So it's been a lot more pressure this year to try and develop the product.
Okay, so actually that question has come in from a number of people as well. They wanted to hear about the coping with the impact of COVID in your company. So thank you for that. Finally, a lot of your clients, I imagine, will be quite large blue chip clients like hospitals, etc. So do you and the company have a belief that the publications are going to play an important role in convincing potential customers of the efficacy of your solutions?
Yeah, a lot of Sandas customers are large corporations, but they also do an equal amount of smaller companies. They do a full range. Regarding the publications, an early study that was conducted was to verify the efficacy of the electrostatic sprayer, which hasn't been done before, and that has been completed and submitted. Dr. McKay led that one. So that's one way to prove to larger companies that our formula and solution does work, and it's also been proven with just repetitive use from customers.
Okay, thank you. I mean, Alison Reith has posted a question on the same topic, probably phrasing it better than me. So she asks, have you had any challenges in developing the spraying technology to be able to really control the correct density of disinfectant distribution? So I think that's a question about creating the equipment to deliver that tolerance.
Yeah, Yes, in a way. The equipment is designed in a way that it doesn't generate a wet spray, so you can use it on off-season paper, etc. So that's our aim, is to have the droplet size within the range that it's not considered a wet spray, and that's the main goal, is the controlling that section.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We've exhausted the time for questions for your project. It's another really inspirational story. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gerry.
So now we'll move on to presentation, which is with Novosound Ltd. And the project was to embed thin film design and optimization capability in support of a new generation of advanced ultrasonic sensors. And their KTP associate is Mari.
Good morning. My name is Barry Rogan and I'm here today to talk to you about my KTP project, which was with Novosound and the Institute of Thin Film Sensors and Imaging here at UWS. So here is my team. I'm in the middle, and to my left is our founding director and CEO, Dr. Dave Hughes, and to my right is my lead academic, Professor Des Gibson, who's the director of the Institute of Thin Film Sensors and Imaging. Founded in 2018, Novosound is the first spin-out company to emerge from UWS. Novosound specialises in the design and manufacture of ultrasonic imaging products using a thin film process initially developed in the Institute of Thin Film Sensors and Imaging. In just over 2 years, Novosound has grown rapidly to become a global business working across a wide range of sectors and has received multiple awards from several leading institutions for its innovative ultrasound technology. Conventional ultrasound relies on a rigid ceramic material, which has many limitations, including manufacturing costs, imaging quality, inflexibility, and inherently low operating temperatures. This can be a problem in sectors like non-destructive testing, where to image the corrosion of a pipeline requires the entire line to be shut down until the images can be taken. All of these problems are solved by Novosound's novel patented thin film technology. Each Novosound product is based on our thin film, allowing us to bring a wide range of products to market, including a truly high resolution probe which can clearly image the inside of small electronic components, the world's first fully flexible ultrasonic imaging array, the Novosound Kelpie, which is here to solve all of your complex geometry inspection needs, and again, a world first high temperature fit and forget corrosion monitoring sensor, the Belinus. With 2 of these 3 products alone, the addressable market opportunity is almost $200 million. And that's not taking into account all the other industries where our technology can fit in, shown here, like medical, wearables, and dental. So, my KTP started in November 2018, using UWS equipment to continuously improve experimental Novosound material. During this time, I also had the opportunity to travel twice to the US to begin commissioning an in-house production system. This arrived in May 2019, and myself and the Thin Films team spent the next several months establishing in-house manufacturing of the material. We then focused on scaling up manufacturing and reducing production downtime. During this time, I also presented at the world's largest ultrasound conference, IEEE Ultrasonics, and also at Reactive Sputter Deposition 2019 in Germany. And continuous experimental work was also going on the whole time with the help of the Thin Films Institute. The main KTP output has been the ability to produce the Novosound thin film in-house. This can then be passed on to the production team and built into truly world-leading products. For the company, the advantages have been the aforementioned manufacturing capabilities, the establishment of thin film processes and know-how in the company, and the ability to produce consistent films with scalable manufacturing built in. Academic impacts have been a couple of presentations and a couple more that were scheduled for this year but have been delayed to next. A broadened scope of research and ongoing collaboration with an industrial partner. And for me personally, I've had 2 years experience working in a startup environment. I've gained expertise in a highly employable area of physics research, worked towards a master's and had personal development training and travel opportunities too. Next steps for me include a provisional job offer at the company and a future leaders fellowship application. And for the company and university together, we're running a PhD that's partly funded by Census, which starts December this year. And there's a Royal Society Industrial Fellowship, which starts March next year. And I'd just like to thank all of my KTP team, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Another remarkable story that you've just laid out to us, and really inspiring to see the next steps. A future leaders fellowship application and some of those other opportunities that you and the company are pursuing. Really prestigious awards if you win any of them. So I certainly wish you all the best with that. I think it would be interesting if you could give us a slightly more detailed view of the journey in manufacturing that you've taken the company on. You've said that you've gone from not manufacturing in-house to manufacturing in-house. You've managed to reduce the cost of manufacturing, and you've significantly reduced the downtime, or put it another way, you've increased the repeatability and quality control. So would you like to just comment on the scale of that journey?
Sure. So when I started my KTP, Novosound was just starting the process of buying their own in-house machine. We then, me and Dave, the CEO, went out to New York twice to do some testing on it, and we got it delivered in May last year, and it took a good few months to get it up to speed with that system. There's lots of different processes involved, lots of different components. So it was myself and Kevin, who's the lead physicist at Novosound, spent most of the next few months just trying different processes. Once we'd got sort of process down to pat, we tried to speed it up and reduce downtime by doing things like planned maintenance and having external companies in to fix any issues quite quickly.
Excellent, well done. As a question appeared from Alison, and she asks, what have you enjoyed the most about working in a startup company?
It's quite stressful. It can be quite stressful, but I actually really like the fast pace. I think it's interesting when you do a KTP, you see universities and how slow things can be to be developed. But you know, I started at Novosound, I think there were 6 people, now there's 30. We've got 3 or 4 products on the market and more to come. It's so fast, which is good and sometimes bad.
Well, thank you. Again, the time for questions has flown past, and we've reached the end of that. But I think it's before we just move on, it's worth a final comment. This is the university's first spin-out company. You've gone from 6 members of staff to over 30 members of staff, and your next steps include some of the most prestigious awards that are possible. So very well done, and wish you all the best for the next steps.
Thank you.
Okay, so What a morning we're having. What inspirational projects we're hearing about. It's really genuinely exciting to hear these stories. So we're moving on now to project number 4, a household name, Baxters Food Group Ltd. And the project was to embed waste and process management knowledge and expertise, helping reduce the environmental footprint and achieve best-in-class performance. And the KTP associate here is Michael.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael Fagungwe and I'm here to talk about my KTP project titled Waste and Wastewater Management, which seeks to embed lean and sustainability academic knowledge within the Baxters Group. This is a 30-month project and we are only 18 months into it. The project is chaired by Graham Morrison, the European Supply Chain Director. KTP is a team sport, as demonstrated by all those involved in my project, and I would like to thank all those in this slide and the West of Scotland KTP Centre for their support. Baxter's Food is a family-owned global business established in Scotland over 150 years ago, who are best known for premium food brands such as canned soup, canned meat products, sour pickles, and sauces. However, because of the nature of the business, food waste is a challenge. The current approach is to recycle this material. This is good, but Baxters wants to reduce their food waste, environmental footprint, handling costs by exploring high-up waste strategies. Aside from food waste, wastewater is a growing challenge for the business. With the tightening of regulatory requirements, the business seeks a more cost-effective and sustainable approach to wastewater treatment. To address this food challenge, we implemented a material flow mapping of the site. Based on this, some food products were mapped out for redistribution to food charities. Others were collected by farmers as animal feed at no cost. Precision production was adopted to reduce flour and vinegar waste. Certain waste were reused as carbon supplement at the effluent treatment plant. Similarly, we evaluated the wastewater treatment system and deployed sustainable strategies such as discouraging vinegar dumping, improving on biological buffering of the system to reduce caustic use. A detailed site modeling was initiated to help predict, test, and select suitable operating conditions for the plant. A mathematical model for predicting BOD was also put in place to reduce waiting period from 5 days to 2 hours. A new operating system was installed to allow the plant cope under low production period and shutdowns. To achieve these, an understanding of current practice was crucial, after which several microcosm experimentation were carried out to proof of concept. This was in addition with the process simulation using Stuart software for testing several scenarios on the effluent treatment plant before implementing on site. At every stage of our findings, knowledge was shared with the business. Figure 3 is a graph showing the simulation of the effluent treatment plant. The model has been calibrated and validated. You can see the close proximity between the simulation and the measured data. We have achieved a lot over the period of this project, which still has another 11 months to run. Some key outputs include 45% reduction in caustic use, elimination of molasses use and associated costs, improved effluent monitoring and troubleshooting. In business, the impact for the business, so far the project has contributed £230,000 in savings, with a projection of further 1.3 million per annum by 2025. This savings comes from implementation of waste prevention strategies, reduction of chemical use, installation of proactive process monitoring. In academic, 1 journal paper is under review, 2 more near completion. We also have the potential for a spin-out from UWS. As an associate, I've added Green Belt, Lean Sigma, and sustainability to my personal development. The next step is to install a wastewater treatment plant at other Baxters sites to complete the KTP project and be retained by Baxters. and also considering the Royal Society of Edinburgh Enterprise Fellowship. Thanks for listening, and thanks to our sponsor. Any questions, please?
Thank you so much, Michael. Another really interesting story. Stuart's posted in the Q&A to highlight the testing improvement from 5 days to 2 hours. Now that's performance improvement, Stuart quotes. So Michael, it's an amazing achievement. What does that mean for Baxters? How does that translate into improvement?
Oh, thank you for the question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Yes. Prior to the project, Baxters usually send a sample to an external lab to do some analysis, which takes about 5 days before you get a result. It's actually the biodegradable oxygen demand, which is one of the parameters that needs to be checked before you discharge water into the river. And it takes 5 days for this result to come through. And prior to that time, a lot of this effluent would have been discharged into the river anyway. And it does not allow Baxters to be proactive in terms of monitoring the characteristics of the effluent and to ensure that it's within consent. And so what we have done in the project is to come up with a model correlation for converting the BOD converting COD into BOD. That's the chemical oxygen demand, which takes about 2 hours, and have a correlation that allows you to convert it to BOD. And with that, we can do the chemical oxygen demand analysis in-house and use the the correlation model to come up with the BOD. And that has been very accurate and allowed the business to monitor its BOD content of the effluent before discharging into the river.
Okay, thank you. You had on your slide of achievements, the second bullet point was no longer using molasses. I'm sure, like many other people listening today, don't quite understand the relevance of that as an achievement. So could you explain that? Why is it good to stop using molasses?
Thank you again for the questions. Molasses is a carbon material that is used at the effluent plant as a fuel. It's more like a food for the microorganisms at a stage during the removal of nitrate and phosphate, which are not good to be discharged into the river at certain concentration. So the molasses is used as a food for the microbes to facilitate the removal of nitrate and phosphate from the waste effluent before it's discharged into the river. So what we have simply done is to allow the system to self-enrich itself by diverting carbon-rich effluent at certain stage of the treatment process into the aeration tank where the phosphate and the nitrate is being removed. And by doing so, that eliminates the need for further enrichment or addition of molasses at the later end of the treatment process.
That's amazing. A really interesting solution. I have another question here from Richard, who's picked up on the savings of 230,000 that you have already achieved, and would just like a bit more detail. Where did the savings actually come from?
Yes, thank you again for the question. So the savings came from some of the changes that were brought into Baxters in the course of this project. First of all, I mentioned earlier about chemical use, the use of caustic. So Baxters in their production usually they use vinegar a lot, and vinegar is acidic in nature, and that drops the pH of the effluent. And in order to to treat that effluent, you need to correct the pH. And most of the time, before this project, caustic has been heavily relied on. So we have changed the use of caustic to allow biological buffering of the process. Also, other things are some of the waste material, surplus food material that goes to animal feed that no longer goes as recycling. That has also helped bring in some additional savings. The other things also are additives use, chemical use. We've really reduced on some of these things, and those are some of the places where these savings came from. And just lastly, because they usually rely heavily on the external lab for some of the results of the analysis. So most of these analysis now we do in-house, and that has also brought in some savings.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for giving us such a detailed response to that. Unfortunately, there are more questions in the chat, but unfortunately we've run out of time for more questions. So going to say thank you very much and very well done, and all the best for the rest of the project.
Thank you.
So now we're moving on to project number 5. This is the ISO Organisation Ltd and their project to embed advanced visualization knowledge and expertise, both augmented reality and virtual reality, and their KTP associate, Verena.
Thanks everyone here today for tuning in. My name is Verena Henn, and I just completed a 24-month associateship with UWS and ISO Design. Over the past 2 years, I had the pleasure to work with Damien Smith, Managing Director of ISO, and Nick Higgins, our Director of the Creative Media Academy. And of course, the incredibly creative and diverse team here at ISO. What do we do at ISO? We're a digital media and software studio based in Glasgow, and we specialize in large-scale interactive experiences for museums, galleries, and brand exhibition centers. We have projects all over the world, and maybe you've seen some of our work, for example in the V&A in Dundee, Titanic Belfast, or the Imperial War Museum. Looking back at the original objectives of this project, ISO was looking to exploit consumer VR and AR technology and become an industry leader in the provision of immersive services within the cultural heritage market. Because these technologies are so new, it is necessary to identify which ones have potential from an artistic as well as a commercial perspective. Because these technologies are so new, ISO was lacking in-house expertise, and our designers often don't have the time to upskill while they're working on busy productions. Because these technologies are so new, none of our heritage clients want to be the first to put them on their exhibition floors. Instead, they are looking for tried and tested methods. So the opportunity here was to establish R&D as a priority area within the business and exploit positive developments we have seen within the immersive economy, such as the Audience of the Future and Creative Industries cluster programs. Broadly speaking, my journey as an associate kind of split into 2 halves. Year 1 included the development of 5 immersive prototypes and thorough market assessment. For these mini projects within the projects, as we like to call them, we made sure they had real-world connections, like publicly exhibiting 2 of them at the Glasgow Short Film Festival and the Merchant City Festival. My second year, on the other hand, was much more focused on collaborations and profile building. During that time, we developed R&D relationships with National Theatre of Scotland, the Royal Conservatoire, and Glasgow University. I've also had the opportunity to attend many high-profile industry events, and the personal highlight for me was being sent on an Audience of the Future mission trip to Shanghai and Shenzhen as the sole ISO representative. So, drum roll please. The final output of the KTP is not a technical product or service, as we originally assumed, but instead we created our own in-house innovation lab. Here we can explore new opportunities, develop prototypes, and de-risk projects that depend on emergent technologies. ISO Labs operates across 3 main areas, ranging from immediate studio support to long-term investigations and relationship building. COVID has shown us how important it is for companies to be flexible, be adaptable, be innovative, and be open to change. And I feel ISO Labs is at the heart of all of this. And I'm very happy to report that I will be staying on as the head of research and development. So what's next for us? We're currently in the process of developing and formalizing our ISO Labs framework and processes. We also just started a 9-month project funded by Innovate UK Sustainable Innovation Fund, which is looking at using digital technology to help the performing arts sector recover from COVID. And we're in the mix for Festival 2022, commissioned to develop a new project proposal with an exciting set of partners. Thank you so much for your attention. If you'd like to chat more about any of this, please get in touch and I'll see you in the Q&A.
Wow, thank you so much for that presentation. You're certainly at the cutting edge of virtual reality, and it must be a very exciting space. And you're starting your next role as head of R&D, so that's a remarkable outcome for your KTP achievements. Very well done indeed. I'd like to probe a little bit into, if you like, an example of what you've done, because you talked about prototypes in the first year and partnering and commissioning through the second year, and the main outcome being an innovation lab. So I imagine that there's some hardware, but a lot of software or just process creation to deliver some results here. I wonder if you could give us a flavour, maybe using an example of the sort of world-leading new things that you've been party to creating.
Yeah, sure, of course. Thanks for the question, Gerry. As I was saying in my presentation, excuse me, cutting edge is not always what our clients want, or they're very cautious about it. So we developed these prototypes to make visible to them what is achievable and what is realistic in their respective contexts. So one of the prototypes were immersive postcards that we developed with the National Trust for Scotland, because there was no room to put digital interpretation within one of their sites, but we still wanted to tell stories digitally, and postcards just seemed like the perfect medium, because you have them at all their venues, at all their visitor attractions, and it's something people buy, something people take home. And if you can get this additional layer by putting your mobile phone in front of it and getting these digital stories, these augmented stories, that's a huge improvement on storytelling and interpretation. And just showing them this prototype made them think how they can integrate this without worrying that something will go wrong or you have some technical failure within your site.
That's really interesting. So a postcard with a QR code?
Not even necessarily QR code. We have lots of different ways to recognize image and give signals to the mobile app to display the digital content. Wow.
So there are some posts coming into the Q&A. So we've Richard is saying congratulations on your new job. Very well done. Thank you. Alison is asking, is this technology targeted at sites where they have a footfall of younger visitors? Will such technology also be able to be deployed to assist museums have visitors in the post-COVID period?
Absolutely. And we actually try to be quite technology agnostic in our approach. So first, we take more of a user-centered approach. So first we talk to the museums, we talk to the curators, we talk to the interpretation designers, what it is they want to do with a particular exhibition or in a particular museum. And then we help to find the best technology to deliver those messages, to deliver those stories.
Okay. As has happened with every talk, the questions are exceeding the time we have available to answer them. But as Stuart said earlier on, we'll capture all the questions and provide some answers after the event. But it's a very exciting world that you're living in. It's very interesting that you've not only focused on the technology and the hardware and software, but you've really thought about your business model and the way that you engage clients and co-create the innovations needed for their specific opportunities. I think that's a real key to success. So very well done, and all the best for the next stage in your career.
Thank you very much.
So we'll just wait for Stuart to put up the next slide. Here we are. We're on to project number 6, this time with Lumen Research Ltd, and the project to embed machine learning expertise and develop a software tool for predicting a viewer's likely response to a range of visual communications. And their KTP associate is Navid.
Everyone, this is Dr. Navid Haji Mirza from Lumen Research. I'm the CTO of the company and presenting this project, which is about eye tracking on mobile devices. This is the KTP team. Unfortunately, Mr. William Blakey, the KTP associate, is not working with the company anymore. However, his contributions are very significant towards this project. Dr. Naeem Ramzan was the lead academic who helped us during this project. This is the KTP team. A special thanks goes to Mr. Mark Lynch, the KTP advisor, and Dr. Paul Kerr, the lecturer at University of West Scotland, and all KTP Center staff. Lumen Research is about using eye tracking technologies on advertising. We use eye tracking glasses, infrared sensors, and we use webcam eye tracking on both mobile platforms and desktop platforms. Eye tracking on mobile platforms is the outcome of this project. There were three challenges for this project. First, people don't pay much attention towards advertising, so it is hard to measure that. Second of all is how we can quantify attention towards online advertising. And the third challenge is how to use the eye tracking technology to record people's attention towards online advertising. The opportunity for this project is UK spent 25 billion on online advertising, 20% of which go to smartphone advertising, and this is the market that this project is targeting. We chose KTP because it helped us to accelerate and avert the risk for development of a first of its kind product, and we chose UWS because they had the knowledge and know-how on to conduct AI-driven research and deploy an AI-driven product. The most important steps for this project were to solve mobile platform-specific challenges and reduce the product into one link that we can send to thousands of people. You can see the outcome of this project in this video. We sent a link to 100 people. They watched this video while holding their mobile phones in their hands and following this little monster on the screen. We collected their data, their gaze points, and put these gaze points on top of each other. And as you can see, this beautiful heat map is generated from the attention they pay towards this monster. The advantages of this product are first, this product is first of its kind, and it is very accurate. We keep 60% of the recorded data compared to 20% industry standard for similar products. And the third and most important advantage is it's a browser-based product, so we can use it cross-platform and compare the results of attention towards advertising on different platforms. The business gained £225,000, increased its revenue by this amount since the launch of this product. The academic partner has submitted one paper and 2 other paper submissions are awaiting, and the associate gained solid image processing and machine learning knowledge. We expect to earn another £7.4 million over the next 3 years by launching new products that use this technology. We are planning on launching 2 new products in 2021 that uses this technology. The most important product is real-time monitoring of advertising campaigns. Finally, I would like to recommend the KTP program to all businesses and definitely recommend University of West Scotland as a KTP partner. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm more than happy to answer all your questions after this presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And yet another really interesting project. I'd like to ask about the science behind the theory of eye tracking, as it were. So, how much effort have you gone into persuading your customers that the tracking technology is delivering intelligence about behavior that can be legitimately linked to you know, their interest in the advert?
Yeah, Naveed, you're on mute. Could you unmute your mic, please?
Okay, I did unmute. Okay. Hello, everyone. Sorry for that. Very good question. In the beginning, it was not easy to convince the client and customers that we approach to use eye tracking as a metric for attention. Lumen is now 6 years old, and during all times, click through rate, counting the number of clicks was the most important measure for measuring people's attention towards advertising. But over time, after measuring this and doing studies and researches, advertisers and publishers, both sides, they realized that click-through rate is not as effective as an effective measure as it was considered. That helped us, and we did many studies. We started with omnibuses, and our most breakthrough was one project that we did in Scotland, actually, with British Gas, and we did an A/B testing using measuring people's attention towards advertising using eye tracking technology and using other methods, and our method could quite precisely predict that the sales British Gas would make out of this advertising campaign, and that was a breakthrough for us. So we used that as a case study for RPR.
Wow, that's great. There's a question come in from Alison. Does the eye tracking analysis show that customer engagement is enhanced by use of different colors, different text, different content and imagery? Is one element more engaging for the user than another?
It is. So we have in eye tracking, we have two, we define attention in two processes. We call them top down and bottom up. Top down is when somebody is looking for something, and bottom up is when something is attractive to someone. And this question, I assume, targets the bottom-up approach, that when something attracts someone. Definitely, there is an effect in attracting people's attention using the looks, but it totally depends on the context. So, on a white screen, a red dot is attractive, but in red background, a red dot is not attractive. This is called saliency. It totally depends on the context and the region that visual stimuli is placed.
Thank you. It's really interesting to hear the level of theory behind some of the choices being made. I wondered whether you might be moving on to use micro expressions so that you can read people's emotions as well as their attention.
We have done projects in that. Unfortunately, the quality of the cameras are not good enough. Like, we are talking about normal webcams, so we need very, very high resolution cameras. And at the moment, at the current stages of technology, the cameras don't have that resolution. That's one thing. And another thing is, because we are focusing on advertising, normally with display advertising, unless they are long videos and there's some real humor in them, people don't show emotions. We have done that study, and we didn't have great success in that. So hopefully in the future with better technology, definitely.
Okay, it raises an interesting topic that's not uncommon in KTP, which is, when does a company decide to invest in a capability, knowing that the technology will be getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, so that it's something that you couldn't take to market today, but you might be able to take to market in 2 years' time. When is the right moment to develop? Again, we've exhausted our time, so that there are more questions, but I'm going to do my job as a chairperson and draw your presentation to a close. Thank you very much. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've arrived at project number 7, MODO Systems Ltd, and the project to embed machine learning expertise and develop the next generation of digital content management platform, and their KTP associate, Radosavljevic.
Hello, my name is Radosavljevic. The KTP project I was involved in was based around building and integrating state-of-the-art machine learning technologies within MODO in collaboration with UWS and Innovate UK. The team involved over the 2 years of this KTP was the company chair of MODO Systems, Dr. Majid Anwar, Professor Naeem Ramzan, the lead academic from UWS, and myself, the KTP associate. Apart from this, we also had the KTP project had a very knowledgeable and experienced support team which helped the project move smoothly and on track. The senior KT advisor for this project was Dr. Gerry Black, Dr. Mohammed Zishan Shakir, who was the second academic from UWS, and of course the entire UWS KTP Center staff. MODO is the core application of MODO Systems, and it looks to solve the problem of digital clutter. In today's day and age, the amount of data being generated by us is reaching new heights, and the ability to organize, sort, and find exactly what you're looking for is becoming harder and harder, especially when your data dates back years and years. And so MODO was created as a solution to the problem of digital clutter, using its novel server architecture and an amazing visual UI and of course its core technology. MODO organizes all of your data from across the internet and brings it into one place, and at the same time giving you the ability to quickly and efficiently browse, sort, and manage all of it. As part of the KTP with MODO, the main challenge was to improve MODO's core search and user experience functionality using state-of-the-art machine learning technologies. These technologies would allow MODO to have an AI engine that can recognize the contents within an image, video, or documents without the need for human involvement. Face recognition and content tagging using machine learning algorithms were also introduced, again helping the users stay on top of their content. The KTP project began 2 years ago in July 2018, and various milestones were reached throughout its journey, especially the integration and production of a visible MVP with the deliverables successfully integrated. This slide shows the 3 different machine learning techniques that were researched, developed, and integrated within MODO's beta application. Some of the advantages of the KTP included the development of these state-of-the-art and complex machine learning technologies with the help and backing of the university experts who are already heavily invested in this field. The KTP also allowed various new doors to open by adding value regarding reputation where the investors are concerned due to well-known names in the UK being involved in this project and in the KTP in general. Without a doubt, the KTP had a big impact for everyone involved. The business receiving new knowledge, technology, and expertise, the academics getting various journal papers and student projects, whereas the associate got exposure to job security, networking, knowledge, and skills as part of the KTP personal development scheme as well. MODO as an application is currently nearing completion to go live in the early months of 2021. However, there are further KTPs and UWS projects and collaborations planned here at MODO in partnership with KTP and UWS going forward. So that's really exciting. And finally, this is our core team here in the UK in Glasgow, but we also have a MODO team in China, and we have a partnership with Alibaba. But this is our core team here in Glasgow, and I'm really happy to present MODO as an application and as a company and as a collaboration with KTP to you and to everyone here. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please do let me know.
Okay, thank you very much. Another great presentation. I would like to ask you about your personal journey. This was a very challenging project that saw you having to really deliver sophisticated machine learning and also work internationally, visiting China, etc. So would you just like to talk a little bit more about, you know, how you feel your own skills have evolved over these 2 years?
Yeah, good morning, first of all. Thanks for the question and listening to the presentation. Over the 2 years, it was really interesting to work into MODO because I got exposure to a lot of big names, especially the AI team in Alibaba in China, in Shanghai, when we visited 2 times, and meeting the team over there, because in China, the AI and machine learning is so big that they pretty much use it everywhere. And that's what we were trying to bring into the company as MODO. Especially the problem that we had here was we were working with a user's data, so it wasn't about creating a generic model that would work in just a general scenario. It would be to bring a user experience and bring a user's own kind of data in there and give them that access to the new technologies that we were developing. So that was the main challenge that we faced over the 2 years. And we tried a lot of different models and different techniques. We used generic models, and then we created our own ones. And then now we're actually working to combine the models that exist, the machine learning algorithms, and we're using that to create a personalized technology for the user itself. So it's not going to be just a generic algorithm that's working in the back, looking at your data and giving you random results. It'll be content managed for you based on what you use and how you do it. So that the entire journey was pretty much just a roller coaster, to say, but it was a really good experience, especially developing my skills in programming and the AI side of things, as well as communication skills, talking to people in the industry that I've had and been there for a long time. So it was a really good experience, and it was a big learning curve. But I'm happy that the KTP was there to support as well, and MODO and UWS and the entire team.
Thank you. Of the solutions that you developed, would you like to just describe one in a little bit more detail, and you know, to try to describe the impact it might have on MODO's customers?
Yeah, of course. So one of the major ones that we spent a lot of time on was content-based image retrieval. So the idea behind that was because MODO, the users of MODO are connecting their own content from different locations on the internet. So they're accessing their own data. So what we were planning to do was, instead of spending a lot of time and energy and technology behind actually annotating a data, we integrated and created a technology called content-based image retrieval, where it looks at what's within your content itself, learns from it, and then it recommends and finds other content within your own data to help you find similar information. So for example, if you were 2 years ago, if you went on a holiday and you took a picture over there, but you forgot where it was, but you remember what it looked like or what kind of colors were in that image, then you could search for it based on that, and it would find different content, different scenarios that have images there. And you could even search for based on the location, the time, who was there, especially the face recognition. You can add in people that you recognize to use the search. So it's a really big, I guess, productivity tool, but it's also a personal tool where you can organize and sort everything and then share it with whoever you like.
Thank you. There's a question coming from Stuart. He says last time he spoke to the company, he thinks he was told that you had 300 million users. Is that correct?
So the 300 million users, it was before, we did have in a beta stages, but because we're going through a whole revamp of our technology, the users will be moved over. We do have initial sign-offs because we are a partnership with Alibaba. We have our own promotion with them, so a lot of the traffic coming in is coming in as a beta technology user. So they are there, but we are planning to move them all over to our initial launch that is totally changed. The whole look of the UI has changed. Some of the technologies that's implemented has changed. So the users are there, but not as many as before. But we still have in the millions right now that are beta tested before we've even launched fully. So that's really good news. And it's really good to have that back in there from users to support and get feedback on what they like, what they don't like, and so on.
Great. Well, there are more questions coming in, Sonny, but again, we've exhausted our time for questions. So I'm just going to say thank you very much for the presentation. Very well done in your project, and I know you've taken a job at the company. So all the best for the future.
Yeah, thank you, Gerry.
Okay, on to project number 8. This is with Golden Casket Greenock Ltd, and the project is to develop the capability and understanding to implement app development, database management, data mining, and business intelligence informed decision making. And their KTP associate, Shakil.
Hi, I'm Shakil Ahmed, a KTP associate working on behalf of a company, Golden Casket Group, and University of West Scotland is supporting this project. In my team, we have company supervisor, Dave Fins. He's the director of operations, then myself, and from the uni, Professor Keshav Dahal, working as an academic lead. The other supporting members are mentioned on the slide. Dr. Gerry Black is here as KT advisor, then Dr. Marco Gilardi as my academic supervisor, Mr. James B. Johnston as support from business school, and Dr. Hector Marco from computing and engineering of University of West Scotland, giving me some support on security issues. Now, talking about the Golden Cascade, it is UK's most innovative confectionery specialist, working since 50 years. Two major nationally and internationally known brands are one pounders and Millions. While starting the project, the challenges I found are online ordering app to reach more customers with enhanced efficiency, then business intelligence for better decisions. Existing problem with the system in company that the current customer ordering system is somewhat manual. It is tablet based and offline. There is no e-commerce system and do not leverage on existing investment in business intelligence platform. So there is an opportunity from this KTP project for the company to become the market leader, expand across UK and internationally, brand expansion, leveraging existing IT platform investment, gain improved customer insight, enhance business productivity and management capability. Route to market from this company, I found 5-tier. That one is direct to retail markets through wholesale traders, through third-party networks, then foreign exports. So I'm targeting 4 out of 5 from this project. So I started my KTP journey since April 2019. After 2 months later, there was a change with academic team, but still I continued with developing strong interaction with the company stakeholders and tried to understand the project requirement on behalf of the company. And with the good support of new academic team, I could develop the online sales ordering app, which is now on test rollout since November 2020, and I'm expecting to complete the KTP project on April 2021. As a result, the expected KTP output would be online ordering app, and this app is compatible for both iOS and Android, and there is a potential for its use by shop owners and general public. The business intelligence tools that I am using are Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, then Python tools. About the infrastructure of this development, we must say that company has strong Microsoft SQL database, and from the database, we are pulling some important data to secondary database working as a warehouse. And from the warehouse, we are pulling data and displaying important data to mobile app and internet web dashboard. And at the middle, we have web services. The advantages through the system would be streamlined ordering and greater customer response, then improve market and business insight, in-house app and business intelligence development capability, then potential for sub-licensing. And KTP impact, we are expecting about 50%. Academics, student projects are there. Company recruited 2 University of West Scotland graduates and 1 journal is on production. And from my side, I could develop the software development skill, some management skill, some software skill, and I'm doing MBA from University of West Scotland and level 5 diploma in management and leadership qualification. Next step would be project completion for final reporting, version 2 development towards app for general public and further involvement with academic research team. And I'm close to the end of my presentation and ready to answer any questions if you have. Thank you.
Shaquille, thank you very much for that presentation. It must be a year or nearly a year now since I was able to actually visit the company, and the memory of the large tub of chocolate coated fudge in the middle of the boardroom table for all our LMC presentations is just reminding me how much I'm looking forward to being able to attend LMCs in person again. It's quite a place to visit. In your presentation, you had a slide there outlining that you had 2 student projects associated with your project. I haven't asked anyone about student projects today, so I think it's a good opportunity. What did you get students from the university looking at to help the company?
Thank you, Gerry, for a very nice question. Company had good amount of data, real data. So I thought that some students from University of West Scotland, they might be helpful utilizing those data, producing some business intelligence tools. And one student did it, and it was shown to my company supervisor, and he appreciated those predictions. So those were really helpful.
Good. You also, I think it's also worth commenting, you said early on that the academic team had to change, but that you managed to carry on with the project through that process. So it's a good part of KTP that there's processes and systems in place to manage that type of disruption. Would you like to just describe how that was managed and how it impacted you?
Yeah, initially I was a little bit disheartened when I saw that my lead academic supervisor left the uni, but with good interaction from University of West Scotland team, especially Stuart, McKay, and my company supervisor, and also good inspiration from you, I didn't get disheartened. Rather, I took the opportunity to interact more with the company, to understand how companies work in UK, and tried to establish a further interaction with the University of West Scotland. University of West Scotland gave me the scope to see on uni premises that were really helpful to interact with a good number of excellent people. So that also inspired me.
Good. So there's a question in from Jim, and he notes that you have quite a large academic team, including from the business school, despite it being very much a technical project. So how do you think, how would you describe the benefits of having such a diverse team?
Yeah, a very nice question. I want to mention that I found the difference between academics thinking and also the company's thinking. So I wanted to improve or make a bridge in between these two heads. So involving more number of people from uni interacting or allowing them to interact with the company knowledge, I thought that both sides could be improved, because from my long experience from Bangladesh Air Force, I tried to utilize that previous knowledge with this company project, and I found that the thinking process or business knowledge with companies in UK and the thinking process of academician from uni a little bit different, and I believe that it is important to make some bridge. Thanks.
Okay, so again, there's more questions coming in, but we've exhausted our time for questions, so you can perhaps have a look at them and answer them online. and I'll now ask Stuart to push us through to the final presentation.
Thank you.
So here we are at Project 9, and I'm going to claim that we're on time, 2 or 3 minutes late, but I think we can cope with that. So project number 9 is the Oak Tree Inn, and the project was to embed strategic planning and decision-making expertise informed by advanced management information systems, and their KTP associate, Patrick.
Hi and welcome to the KTP project currently happening in Balmhall, Loch Lomond. The business is the Oak Tree Inn, and the aim of the project is to support its continued success and growth. The project started in October 2018, it's over 30 months, and it's sponsored by Innovate UK. The on-site team is made up as follows: Sandy Fraser, CEO, whose business portfolio comprises of the following areas: bed and breakfast, coffee roasting and ice cream production, 3 cafes, 2 bars with restaurants, a quarry, an electrical business and rented accommodation. From UWS, Ron Livingston is the lead academic from the School of Business and Enterprise. And last but not least, there's me, our man in Havana. In addition to those on site, the KTP is supported by Dr. Gerry Black, Professor Heather Tarbett, Dr. Matt Frew, Dr. Theo Sanadisis, and the UWS KTP Centre. Now let's have a look at Balmaha itself. Three of the many challenges faced today are as follows. The project was initiated given the Fraser family's ambitious plans for growth, but also a recognition that the existing gut feel approach to management presented a significant business risk. The significant culture change that would be required to adopt and embrace an evidence-based decision-making approach. And COVID-19 and its impact on the hospitality industry. Unforeseen at project inception, but nevertheless the KTP project pivoted to address the resulting impact of this global pandemic and assist the business moving into survival mode. Some examples of opportunities so far are as follows: enhanced management capability, building business resilience, increased business profitability, and strengthening the brand and expanding, as I advised and led on the technology required to create the first drive-thrus in Mocha. Personally, it's been a journey of understanding and appreciating just how successful the business has been to date over many years, whilst realising that the KTP can bring so much experience and know-how which can support the business to be even more successful. The business is now transforming how the business uses data and harnesses that data to provide greater business success through efficiencies and analytics. Some of the outputs to date. The business has an EPOS system which suits portfolio growth. It's been identified and has been deployed. This system integrates with existing systems and can also be extended to include labour scheduling and stock control. 4 advantages worth mentioning today. An evidence-based decision-making capability now exists. A consecutive 9-month decline in accommodation occupancy was halted and turned around into an increase not seen before in living memory. The directors now possess a shared understanding and growing appreciation of how prioritising return on investment and planning efforts and projects efficiently can reduce levels of stress and anxiety. And business accountability and performance metrics can now be tracked live and analysed. In terms of KTP impact, the business gained enhanced management insight and control, directly impacting revenue and profitability, as well as business resilience. The academic team gained valuable insight into the rural economy and the use of the simple strategy approach to upskilling management teams, as well as multiple student projects, publications and academic interests from other countries. And for myself, although this project was funded in advance of the new management KTP model, it has been recognised as an exemplar of how business skill KTPs can deliver enhanced productivity and management upskilling. Next steps. I see them as connecting all remaining business systems to the dashboard, to realise the opening of the first Mocha franchise, to have the project shortlisted and win a national KTP award in 2021, and to see the business continue its collaboration with UWS and Innovate UK. So please remember that the next time when you're in Balmaha, do stop in and sample some of the award-winning produce, be that artisan coffee or my particular penchant, ice cream. So thanks for your time today, it's greatly appreciated, and now let's move on to question and answers. Thank you.
Patrick, thank you so much for that. A marvellous presentation. I feel that you're slightly cheating on the popularity fronts, because really the pipes, Patrick, fantastic. And combining the pipes with the bonny banks of Loch Lomond, how can you beat that? Fantastic. Can I delve into, if you like, the beginnings of this project, and you launching yourself in to help a company with a management type KTP that necessarily affects every aspect of the business and every aspect of the ambition of the owners. And in this case, the owners were quite a large family. So would you like to comment on, on what you did and how you impacted how your thinking was impacted once you sort of landed there and got to know the family, and the impact of it being a family business?
Thanks for the question, Gerry. I think, being honest, it was shock and awe. When you arrive and you actually find out that there are so many facets to the portfolio, and the family, originally 10 members, unfortunately one member had passed away. 4 of those members are directors, and even when you just take that number 4, when you get to decision making, there isn't a balance there. They don't have an extra vote to the chair, so there are times where 4 people can't make a decision. So I initially looked at who, in terms of directors, were in charge of what assets or facets of the business, and then presented that back to them. That was the first time they'd ever seen something like this, which was something that I was used to, as a student, through most of my life, was putting it as a high level to say, okay, this is the first time you can see all your assets on a page. Who's in charge of these assets? And that started to wake everybody up. They could actually say, all right, yeah, I'm involved in that, because you'd have some parts of the company had 2 directors, some had 3, and some had all 4. And then to say to them, okay, to be more productive, let's not use the whole family. An example I would give you would be they're very connected to and have 30 years experience of producing high quality food. But if you can imagine the head chef, if 9 different members of that family talk to him on a day, they've all got differing views on size of food production, display, quality of food, and that's not just from customers that feedback as well. So using that as an example, was able to streamline that back to one director to say that, of course, the family can comment on how they feel, and they can take the public's feedback as well. But it should be aimed and channeled to one director who can then discuss it at directors' meetings. So what I started to do was introduced a weekly management meeting for heads of the department, and I introduced a directors' meeting, which was once a month.
Brilliant. We did have there was a question from Alison which kind of overlapped that question. So thank you for answering that. What do you think, looking back over what you've achieved so far, which bit of it gives you the most satisfaction?
Initially, I would say there are 2 parts to it. As usual, I've got 2 answers here because they mean equally as much to me. I wasn't intending to look at stopping that 9-month decline. I was already looking at existing systems that they've got on site and connecting them and bringing out the data. And I'd overheard, directors having discussions and being troubled one night about accommodation. And I said to them, listen, let me pull a short working group together and have a look at this for you. And within less than a month, supported by the university, and in particular Ron, was able to bring in an MBA student to work with me, who was primarily focused on finance skills. So what I could actually do is extract that information, because the Oak Tree Inn wouldn't be used to extracting such levels of information, and compile a model to show them that there were lots of things we could do to change, which was initially, they felt they'd tried all of this before, but I'd encouraged them to say, put your faith in me, put your faith in the figures. I will only put out there what the data tells me to put out, and that then reversed this decline. You know, not only stopping it, it was putting an extra 30% onto accommodation, which in net terms would probably be about 50%, because it was already in decline by about 20% on a historical basis that I'd just taken for the last 4 years. And then another part which means a lot to me was the Fraser's been so ambitious. They wanted to open up a drive-through. I was flabbergasted, absolutely flabbergasted. Nevertheless, they didn't know anything to do with the technology. They could certainly provide the product. So not been put off by that. That then sent me off on a mission, talking to big players in drive-throughs, and then actually having to tailor what the Frasers wanted, which wasn't the standard model of drive-through be built upon. I led on sourcing the technology and then working with the Frasers to have it installed, and they've successfully opened up the St Mocha drive-through.
Patrick, thank you so much for that. We are running out of time, but it is a real success story so far. I know that there are massive challenges for the business in coming through the pandemic, and that you've been instrumental throughout a lot of that decision making as well. But I'm going to have to draw your presentation to a conclusion. So thank you so much, and all the best for the remainder of the project. So that concludes our 9 presentations. It's been a really wonderful morning, a very inspirational day, and it's now my duty to hand back to Stuart.
So, thank you, Gerry. That was fantastic. Wonderful as always. Great speakers, and thank you to each and every one of you. Gerry, excellent job. I always choose you for a reason, and that's because you're a very good chair. And Milan, thank you for your kind words. And of course, thank you to all the KTP team for supporting this event. I would also mention colleagues from across the institution and our professional services, including finance, HR, and others, including IT as well. Despite me running this, I think we get away with it, but nonetheless, thank you to everyone. And if you add them all up, there's probably about 100 people actively involved in our KTP portfolio across the institution. So that shows you again the sort of commitment we have, and I guess that's reflected in our portfolio growth. Again, we will send the recording of this out to all of you who've registered. We have a very good attendee number, and thank you for all your questions, and especially Alison in the north, who's obviously been one of our top questioners of the night or the morning or the afternoon. Lost time. It's been a hard time setting this all up, not many hours sleep. The other thing I just want to highlight is that KTP is part of our wider business innovation offering, and we've got a lot of support available to companies across the UK, and that includes our new and rapidly growing CPD team, where we can provide support and training bespoke to your institution, as well as our consultancy and sponsored research offerings. So again, I'd encourage you, please do get in contact if you'd like to work with us. I hope we've demonstrated we believe in partnerships, and we can achieve as well. Again, dreaming, believing, and achieving. Finally, I want to let this event play out, and it's my own personal piece of knowledge exchange to you all, and that's really for those of you that are facing a cold, dark winter, and all that time off with your lovely families, especially if you've got young ones. And so what I'm going to do, if this works, is I'm going to play out with my top tip for how to survive Christmas, and specifically it all relates to Googling light sticks at Amazon. Sorry for the plug, but you'll understand in a minute. This will play out and will fade, and we will hopefully see you all next year. I think it's worth 40 seconds of your time just to watch this.
Stuart, before you do that, can Milan get a wee word in?
Oh, if he must, right?
Yeah.
Hang on. I'll put you live, Milan.
Right, here we go. I mean, before I will be very short, but thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you very much, the team of our UWS KTP Centre. Gerry Black, thank you for the fantastic chairing today, and thank you for all participants to listen to the presentations. I'm always fascinated by the nature of the projects, of the KTP projects, and how they contribute to the innovativeness of our companies throughout the UK and now internationally as well. Please enjoy the 40 seconds that Stuart has promised, and have a wonderful day.
So over to my two boys aged 9 and 7 to entertain you.